So this video, I just wanted to touch on my experiences with applying to nursing school, and my experiences with my first semester of nursing school. So let me start off by saying that I definitely was one of those people who always felt that I wanted to be a nurse. I always said it. I knew it. I was going to be a nurse. I was going to be a nurse. I graduated from high school in 2008, and my grandmother got sick, really sick. And so I made a decision to not go to school, straight to college after graduation. And so I just basically worked and helped my mom take care of my grandmother for 2 years. And she passed away, and it kind of took me a little while to get back in the rhythm of things. And so I applied to a local school here, VCU. Go Rams. I applied to VCU and I got in. And when I first applied, excuse me, when I first applied to VCU, I was a pre-nursing major. And, again, I always knew nursing was going to be the deal. Like, I was going to go to school. I was going to, do my 4 years, be an RN, be an NP, and that was it. And I remember, I was doing my prereqs, and I applied to this because, of course, VCU has its own nursing school. And I applied my sophomore year, and I did not get in. Talk about, heartbroken, didn't know what you can do, confused, oh my God, I've taken all these prereqs, all these courses, what am I going to do now? So lo and behold, VCU had a program that they had where it was basically centered towards people who were pre-nursing majors who didn't get into nursing school and what major would fit them best. And so I went to this it was more like an information session. I went to this information session, and lo and behold, School of Social Work was there. And so I thought about it, and I said, I could always, be a hospital social worker, and social worker is kind of, something I could probably see myself doing. And they accepted all of my prerequisites. Literally, the prerequisites for the School of Nursing and the School of Social Work were hand in hand. And so I transferred majors, and I became a social work major. I graduated in 2014. Once I graduated, of course, I was on the hunt for looking for a social work job. I found a job. I still work that job. I work at a human services agency here in the city where I live. And of course, nursing was still all in the forefront of my mind. And so I took prerequisites at J. Sarge to kind of see where I could fit and, what classes I needed to finish up. I think I needed maybe 2 more classes. So I took those, and last year I decided to apply to Bon Secours nursing program, and I applied to Bon Secours nursing program. I got all my documentations together. I got my transcripts together. I got my application fee together, and everything was literally going smoothly until I realized that the biology that I had taken at VCU, which was Bio 101, was not equivalent to what the J. Sargent Reynolds Bio 101 was equivalent to. And even though I literally only needed to take Bio 102, they would not let me take 102 there without taking their 101. And I could not take them simultaneously. Remind you, at this point, I had already turned in all my recommendations were turned in. My essay was turned in. The $95 application fee was paid. Everything was already done. And it was literally this one class that halted me. So I had to call the admissions coordinator and tell her that I basically couldn't forward my application. I couldn't finish it because I still had this one class, and they were not letting me take it simultaneously for me to be able to apply for the next semester at Bon Secours. And so I was really bummed out. I, was really upset because I felt like, I really was ready to go to school that semester. I applied to school. I wanted to get in. I wanted to start. I didn't want to, hold on another year. I feel like I had already been at that point delayed a year and a half. I didn't want to wait again. And so I went to J Sarge. I took that class online. I took Bio 101 online. Then the following semester, I took Bio 102, which was the semester in which I applied to Bon Secours, which was spring of 20. I'm sorry, y'all. My math is not a good, strong point for me. Spring of 2016. I took Bio 102. So I applied again to Bon Secours. I did all the same things. The great thing about it is, even though I had delayed a semester, I didn't have to do all those. I didn't have to get new references. You know, my application, I just could resubmit it. I didn't have to put that information back in. The only thing that I did want to do again was my essay, because I felt like it was strong the first time, but it definitely needed a lot of work. And I definitely took my time with my essay. I literally took maybe 2 months to write my essay. I would write it. I got like 10 people to read over it. Like, I redrafted it like maybe 5 times. So I was really serious this time. And lo and behold, in April, I got the letter that I had been accepted. And I was like over the moon. I was so excited. I cried. I was just like, oh my God, this is finally happening. I'm finally going to nursing school. I've been working on this. I wanted this so long. But there is a but. So with me still taking Bio 102 on, I was taking it online at J Sarge, and I had got my acceptance letter that I've been accepted into school. I did the worst thing that you could ever do, and that was I slacked off. I stopped turning in my assignments. I was really like halfway doing things in Bio 102. Like, I wasn't studying for the test. I just really, in better words, fucked up. I really did. So it was the week before, maybe 2 weeks before finals, and I looked at my grade, and it looks like I'm going to end up with a D in this class. Remind you, D's do not transfer. I was so ecstatic about my about my future and me getting into the nursing program that I completely neglected the present and the responsibilities I had with this Bio 102 class. I was just like, oh, I'm in nursing school, nothing else matters. Well, I'm in the program, nothing else matters. And lo and behold, it did matter. So I talked again to the admissions coordinator, and she said to me, she said that I can remember it clear as day. Either you can take this CLEP exam, which will give you the credit for the Bio 102 because the D is not going to transfer, or we're going to have to give your spot to someone else and you're going to have to reapply next year. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Talking about the biggest smack in the face, chest, everything else. I was so disappointed in myself. I cried and I cried and I cried, and I was just so upset that I let myself get to this point. And so, you know, I had my pity party for a little while, and I got back up and I started researching this CLEP exam, and I started getting all these materials for this CLEP exam, and I just started studying. Remind you, she stated that I needed to not only take the exam, but give the results within a 3-week period. As I'm researching this exam, I'm looking and seeing that most people are saying they're studying for this exam for like 2 months, 3 months, you know, all these ridiculous time frames that I just did not have. So of course the fear set in, and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I got all my study materials. I studied. I can remember the night before, I literally like got on my knees and I prayed the hardest I have ever prayed in my life. I can testify to that. I have never in my life prayed for something as much as I prayed the night before this exam. I was terrified. I was crying. I was just like, God, really, please help me. In order for me to pass the exam, I needed a score of a 50. And so the next morning, I made the appointment for the test. Went in to take the test, and the guy says to me, ma'am, I'm so sorry. It looks like I gave your spot to someone else, because at the testing center, they only had one computer per CLEP test. And he was like, I'm so sorry, but I don't know how I mistake this, but your spot, the lady is taking your spot, so I'm going to have to bump you back like an hour or two. Is that okay? So at that point, I'm just like, oh my God, is this a sign? Like, you know, what is this? Like, how could this have happened? Like, this, me and this lady had two different, total different names. To this day, I don't know how he managed to mess that up. So I go to the car and I study a little bit, and you know, I'm talking to my friends on the phone and they're encouraging me. They're like, you know, it's gonna be okay. And I'm praying, and I just stopped and I said, you know what? I'm gonna really enjoy this moment. And I went outside. I can remember it was a beautiful day outside. The sun was shining. It was just so pretty. I had to take the test at this college I went to, which was VCU. And I'm walking around campus, and I really, for the first time since I've been at the school, really admired nature. Like, I was looking at the trees, I was looking at the birds, I was just looking at the sun, and I was just like, this is just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was, looking back, it was the weirdest moment that I just got this epiphany, but something in me, and now I think back at it, it really was God assuring me that things were going to be okay. Because I had never in my life really took the time to, like they say, smell the roses. Stop and smell the roses. At that point, I really stopped to smell the roses. And, you know, I go in and I take the test, and it is the hardest thing I've ever taken in my life. I was just like, you know what? I'm just not going to pass this. Like, I don't know these answers. I'm just not going to pass. I'm not going to pass. I'm just going to have to wait another semester again to go to school. So it's a test on the computer, so you get your score automatically. Last question came, I answered it. About 15 seconds later, my score popped up. I got exactly a 50 on that test. I got exactly what I needed to pass the test as a score. Talking about somebody who was in there praising, I just couldn't believe it. I just kept saying, thank you, God, thank you, God. The guy who was administering the test, like the proctor, probably thought I was insane because I was just crying when he walked in and he thought I failed. And I'm like, no, I passed. You just don't understand. Like, this is what I needed. I couldn't go to school without this test. And so the moral of this story really is, you know, when you worry about things, when you stress about things, take a moment to just really realize when you pray for something, just have faith that it's going to happen. It may not happen on your time, but have faith that it's going to happen. Taking that test, I would have never thought I would have passed it. It was really hard. I really, that's when everything came in, and I'm just like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Oh my God. You know, I could have studied harder. I could have did this. I could have did this. But God really said, you know what? I got this. I got this, and I got you. So we really have to, I think that's the hardest thing as humans to do, is to lose control and give control to someone else. And not just someone else, but to give control to God. We may love God more than anything else, but we say that, but we still refuse to give him all the control and all the power over our lives. And I really feel like nothing, I'm not going to say nothing positive is going to happen if you don't do that, but when you do give 100% power to your higher being, whether that's God, whether that's Allah, Buddha, you know, Jehovah, whatever. When you really give that power, you really start to see the difference that he makes in your life, like truly and honestly, you know. But that was my spiel of my adventures of applying to nursing school. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you could take at least just one thing out of the video, you know, just constant faith. It is what we need, especially in these days and times. We need faith. We need something. So, till next time. Bye.